Welcome to my top 10 best video games of 2014. I am finally here to talk about last year, even though we are in the second month of this year. So, hey, you know what? Better late than never. Hey, it's better than not doing it at all, like I did with the 2013 list. I never even did that one. So, I'm here to do 2014, which was I will admit, not an amazing year for video games, but there were still some real good heavy hitters out there that actually did work. Some games that I thought would disappoint and actually didn't, which is very surprising. And some games that definitely did, and that was kind of sad. But still, a pretty good year in my opinion. Not terrible, not amazing, just good. It was good. It was a good year. Not amazing, good. Good. One of the weakest years in the last few years, but good. Still good. So let's talk about the top 10 best games of 2014. But before I actually do that, I should mention I have a companion video to go along with my top 10 best video games, and it's pretty much my honorable mentions. The games that I just didn't play enough of, or I just, liked, but not enough to put on my top 10 of 2014. Games I really want to give credit to, just I didn't play enough, or I just, didn't care for as much as the other 10. But still, these are games that are great. So go and click that link, annotation, and the link will be in the description. You'll find it. It's, it's about 4 or 5 minutes of me just talking about the games that just didn't make it. But anyway, let's get into the top 10 with an epic intro. Whoa! It's a tie between two games. That's right, first time ever for one of my video games or movies lists ever to have a tie. And the two games are Lethal League and Robot Roller Derby Disco Dodgeball. That's right, that's the full title. It's a pretty good title. And these are two indie games that are multiplayer focused and are a ton of fun to play with friends. I played with friends. I've even played on my twitch.tv/GordonMovieGod account. Go follow if you want. And I had a blast the entire time, every time I played it. Robot Roller Derby Disco Dodgeball is pretty much a dodgeball game where you play a robot and you have to throw the ball at people and of course get them out. Lethal League is a game where you're on a little arena and you have to keep hitting this ball back and forth until everybody in the area that you're playing against gets hit by the ball and gets eliminated. Both of them are, involve balls. They have multiplayer and they're both indie games, and they're both excellent multiplayer games that don't cost too much. I think Lethal League's like $15, and I think Robot Roller Derby Disco Dodgeball is like $10 on Steam. Both of them I highly recommend. Both of them are tons of fun, and that's right, both of them go on to my top 10 list. I do not think these games are better than Dragon Age and all that stuff before someone says it, but I do think these are two excellent games that should definitely be played. Really tons of fun, especially if you have a lot of friends on Steam and you just don't know what to play. I highly recommend both of these games. A ton of fun, a blast to play all the time. I just love it. And that's my number 10, Robot Roller Derby Disco Dodgeball and Lethal League. So now let's go on to my number 9.
Oh, fuck. Up.
Fuck, make sure he doesn't win. That candy fuck. Shovel Knight, which of course is an indie darling from last year. It's a platformer, old school style platformer where you play as a knight who uses a shovel as a weapon. And oh man, this game is very simple. I mean, it's a platformer. You use your shovel to attack enemies, and you can also jump and dive down with the shovel, and you can hit enemies with the shovel, and you jump on platforms. But it is not only forgivingly hard, which when I mean forgivingly hard, I mean it doesn't like bring you all the way back to the beginning of the level. It's hard. You'll fall and die a lot and you'll lose money, but you'll never have to play a 20-minute segment over and over again. And not only that, but it is one of the tightest platformers I've ever played. So much fun, so much personality, and just so much fun just to explore. I know it's not an open world like, oh, Dragon Age style game, but it's a lot of fun just to like, hey, I want to explore this level, find out what I can find out, find out what I can find out, and just roam around and just kill things and figure out different strategies to finish off the bosses. It's not a very long game, but it's also not a very expensive one, $15. It's a ton of fun. If you love stuff like Mega Man and hell, even some of the Mario games, if you love hard platformers, you're going to love this game. Shovel Knight is excellent, and it is easily probably the best indie game of last year. So Shovel Knight is highly recommended. So good. So there you go. Number 9 is Shovel Knight. Wolfenstein The New Order. Now, you probably don't know this, but I am a huge fan of Wolfenstein. Wolfenstein is one of my favorite FPS franchises of all time, and I was a little bit disappointed in our last iteration, the one that came out in 2009 or 10. I was a little disappointed. I thought it was okay, but it just didn't feel like Wolfenstein. And this game came up, gave us a pretty damn good story, great graphics, tons of guns to use, and I mean, not really tons. You get a good like 8 or 9, but they all feel really nice and feel good when you shoot them, which is great for Wolfenstein. I mean, Wolfenstein was the first real big first-person shooter ever, so it's good to have a game like this that feels good to shoot your weapons. And this game not only had that, but it had some amazing set pieces in this game. I really love some of them, like the boss fight towards the end. Hell, the boss fight before the final boss fight in this game is really, really well done. I had a blast all the way throughout this game, dual-wielding shotguns, stealth killing and Nazis, just being able to upgrade your arsenal and all that stuff. It's a lot of fun all the way throughout. I had a blast with this game. Now, next game, hopefully they add multiplayer, because Wolfenstein had some great multiplayer in the past on Xbox original and the original Wolfenstein game. So hopefully we get some multiplayer in the next one. But right now, this is a great new iteration in the Wolfenstein franchise. I loved it. Machine Games, you did good. You did good. So there you go. Wolfenstein The New Order is a great game, and I highly recommend it, and it's my number 8 game of 2014. South Park, The Stick of Truth, which is an astonishing game because it is a good South Park game. We never had that, really. I mean, unless you count that tower defense game, which was okay. But besides that, I mean, we had some crappy-ass first-person games, some trivia games, a friggin' kart racer, some really bad ones. Hell, we had a platformer that came out a couple years ago that was awful. We had some truly bad South Park games that just could not imitate the comedy, the look. I don't know how you can't imitate the look. It's not like it's the most complex thing ever. They couldn't imitate the humor, the look, the charm, just nothing. They couldn't, even with Trey and Matt's help. And guess what? They took a kind of standard RPG turn-based game and made it into one of the most memorable and funniest hell games of all time. This game is not only memorable and fun to play and just hilarious, but it just evokes South Park. I mean, it's called South Park, but other games have been called South Park and they didn't make you feel like you were playing something that was South Park. This game, when you play it, the first 5 minutes you're like, oh, am I watching a new episode of South Park? No, I'm playing a really long, pretty much a season of South Park. But even though I said the game itself is kind of generic, it's still a great RPG with a great turn-based system, really funny moves to pull off, items that you pick up, weapons, cosmetics to make your character look different. The world of South Park is just the town of South Park, of course. You can fully explore, find different characters, do side missions and stuff. There's a lot of gameplay here. For like, right now, like what, $30? You get a good 30 hours of gameplay. So that's $1 an hour. That's pretty good. Hey, you know what? On average, that's pretty good. So this game you can get for about $30 now. It's highly recommended. Matt, Trey, Obsidian Entertainment, you get a big thumbs up here. You did an excellent job. You took your time and you made a great game that will be remembered. And hopefully the next one will be just as good, if not even better. So there you go. South Park The Stick of Truth is my number 7 pick. Super Smash Bros. Wii U. What can I say about this game? I mean, it's Smash Bros. On Wii U. It's better than Brawl. It's hell, I would even say it's probably better than the original, and maybe just as good as Melee, maybe even better. I have to play a little bit more to figure that out, but it's still a blast to play. All the fighters, especially all the new ones, all feel very distinct and different and have all their different sets of moves, and they all feel very different from one another, which is very good when you're having a fighting game. You have to have them feel different from one another, all the fighters, and this game definitely does it. Nails it completely. The graphics are absolutely gorgeous, and when everything is just going chaotic in 4-player or even 8-player mode, it looks gorgeous. All the colors, all the animations, all the characters just going crazy. It looks amazing. All the environments, all that stuff, the stages, all the items that you can pick up, all that stuff looks great, feels great, plays great. It's great. It's just straight up great. This is a great fighter game, and thank God the freaking online multiplayer in this game works perfectly. I haven't had really any dropouts besides maybe a couple of laggy matches here and there. No real dropouts, unlike Brawl, where if I played that on day one, it was just like lag, drop out, like immediately. This game had a little bit of lag, maybe a little bit, but that really wasn't the game's fault. That was mostly because some people have bad connection. That's about it. This game just has amazing online multiplayer, a lot of different modes. No story mode, which is kind of upsetting because I really do like the story modes, but a great cast of characters, a lot of personality, tons of fun, great fighting. Just the controls are smooth. It's a fantastic fighter. Do I even need to tell you this? Do I need to tell you this? You're playing it right now, probably. You're not even watching this video. You're playing the game. Man, screw you, all right? Watch my video and then go play the game. Or, better yet, listen to this and play the game. There you go. You don't need to pay attention to audio, the video. You know what this game looks like already. Jeez. So anyway, that's my number 6, Super Smash Bros. On Wii U. Titanfall, which I'm going to be honest with you, I was looking forward to this game when it first came out. I was, but it wasn't like, oh man, that's going to be one of the best games this year. I thought it was going to be a really fun game for the first week, and then it was going to go away, which a lot of people thought that's exactly what it was. They play it for a week and then, oh, new game, I'll play that. Me personally, I thought this game was a blast for months, and I still actually play it. I just recently played it a couple weeks ago. It's still a ton of fun, and sadly not many people are playing it now. This game is just good. I don't care if not many people are playing it anymore. I don't care if people are just like, it's not as good as Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. I don't care. This game is excellent in my opinion. It's a ton of fun, looks great, plays great. The guns, all of them are not too overpowered. They're all very well tuned. There's not too many of them, so they actually took some time and actually designed these guns in a way where it's not, oh, there's 400 guns in the game and all of them kind of feel the same. No, they actually made each gun that you have very distinct. You get to customize them a little bit here and there, enough to make them feel different from, you know, when you first started with that gun. And of course the Titan abilities and the Titans themselves, I should say, are just a blast to play as. I mean, just running with your Titan and beating people from on ground or beating other Titans up and shooting them and stuff. It's just a great experience. Jumping out of your Titan, getting onto an enemy Titan and ripping out their guts pretty much and shooting the friggin' engine and stuff, trying to blow up the Titan. There's so much to this game that it just feels epic every time you play a new game. There's so much to love about Titanfall, and I absolutely love it, and I still do play it. Like I said, don't need to repeat myself here. It's a great game. Titanfall is my number 5, and it's a game that just completely blew me away, and it's one of my favorite multiplayer games, probably of all time. I love it. Titanfall is my number 5. But I should say the campaign is a little weak, but I didn't really care myself because I wasn't looking forward to a campaign. I just wanted some multiplayer. But next game, they should add a really cool campaign where you play as a guy and he has a Titan buddy that follows him around. That would be dope. Oh, man. So anyway, yeah, that's my number 5. Titanfall. Dark Souls 2. Oh, man. This game is punishing. But, oh, is it so good. It really is. Dark Souls 2 is a game I played a good maybe 35, 40 hours. I think actually last time I checked on Raptor.com, it was 42 hours long, and I haven't played it since probably the first DLC came out. So 42 hours of a game that I didn't really care for the first installment. I mean, it was good. I enjoyed it, but I didn't play enough of it, just kind of like Dragon Age Inquisition. I really liked it, but I just never played enough. This game, I played a ton of, had a blast the entire time. Every time I died, I felt like it was an experience, a learning experience. And I'm like, okay, fine, then I'll do something different here. I'll take a different path. Maybe this path is a little bit too advanced for me. Let me go down this path. And then I'll come back to the path where I died before, level up about 10 levels, and I'll come back and whoop some ass. blast. I felt like it was a real learning experience that didn't hold your hand at all, which I love. It told you, hey, here's a weapon, here's a shield, get your ass out there, kill some demons and all that stuff, and have a blast. And I did have a blast. This game is so much fun. I can't understand how some people would say this game is weaker compared to the first game. I think this is better in my opinion. Again, I didn't play it all the way through Dark Souls 1, so I guess that negates my opinion. But still, Dark Souls 2 is a great RPG. Tons of weapons to use, tons of things to explore, many monsters and enemies to kill. It's just a game that just spooks me. It really does. It's a spooky game too. It's only rated T for teen, and this game really does spook me to the core with all the designs and eerie environments and very, very limited lighting at times. It's a creepy game too, man. This is a scary game. Dark Souls 2 scares me. But it's really is a truly fantastic game with great combat, great leveling up system, and just don't care. If you die, it's your fault. Sorry, bro. So yeah, I love Dark Souls 2, and there's not much else to say. Dark Souls 2 is my number 4, and you should definitely play it, especially since the new advanced version, not advanced, but you know, the HD remaster is coming out on Xbox One and PS4 this April, so you should definitely play it then. Also, Bloodborne. You should probably play that as well. So anyway, there you go. Dark Souls 2 is my number 4. Now we are in the top 3 video games of 2014. What could they be? Well, let's talk about The Wolf Among Us is my number 3. The Wolf Among Us is a game that originally the first episode came out in October of 2013, but most of the episodes came out in 2014, so this does count as a 2014 game. Just like The Walking Dead Season 2 counts as 2014, even though the first episode came out in December of 2013. Don't know why I felt like I needed to explain that, but I feel like there's going to be one comment like, oh, but the first episode came out in 2013. But The Wolf Among Us, I love detective stories, I love noir tales, and guess what? I love when they use fairy tales in a way like this, where they use fairy tales like The Big Bad Wolf, Little Red Riding Hood, Snow White, you know all of them, Cinderella, Rapunzel, anything. I love when they use fairy tales and darken them up in a way that's just unique and just adds new life into these fairy tales. And this is exactly what The Wolf Among Us did. It's a detective noir story with fairy tale characters where the main character is the Big Bad Wolf, who is a detective who has to figure out who is killing fairy tale characters in this town called Fable Town that the fables, the fairy tale characters, arrived in when they transitioned from their world to New York. I think the Bronx, I'm not sure, but whatever. Point is, this game has an incredible premise, and it does not screw it up at all. It's based on a comic book, but this is a completely different story from the comic book. It's based on characters from the comic book, but it is a different story. It's a prequel, and the story itself has a lot of twists and turns. Characters are really likable. Big B is a badass, one of the best characters of the last year. Snow White is a great character as well, very, very likable, and you'll love when Big B and Snow White are together. I love those two, and I just really loved every single second, and it probably has some of the best telltale action out there, and you know what I mean, where you have to do the context sensitive things, and you have to move the cursor over to a point and make sure you don't get hit and stuff. It probably has the best action, most intense action, and some of the best characters I feel in any of the Telltale games. That's right, Over the Walking Dead has some of the best characters, besides maybe Lee and Clementine. I'll come on, they were great, but still, these characters I love, and I cannot wait for Season 2, which might not even happen. Hopefully it does, but I love The Wolf Among Us, and if this is the last thing for The Wolf Among Us, I mean, it was a good way to end it. And hell, I already got 2 of the freaking compendium books of the Fables comic book series. So hey, I'm gonna continue the story if this game like it or not. I don't care. So anyway, yeah, The Wolf Among Us, I highly recommend. If you haven't played it, it's not very long. It's only about 6, 7, maybe 8 hours long. So yeah, definitely go play it. It's definitely worth the time. So there you go. The Wolf Among Us is my number 3. But now we are at the final 2 video games of 2014. These 2 games blew me away. And I know I say that a lot, but I have very limited vocabulary, so I'm sorry. But these 2 games did blow me away. Now, like I do every year, I tell you what these two games are, I explain why I love both of them, and then I tell you which one is number one. The two games are Danganronpa 2, Goodbye Despair, and Middle-earth, Shadow of Mordor. Danganronpa 2, Goodbye Despair is a game that when I reviewed it, I gave it a 10 out of 10. I thought it was excellent, had some of the best storytelling in a video game in a very long time, probably since BioShock Infinite and The Last of Us. Just an amazing cast of characters, very fleshed out, and that's very surprising considering it was a huge cast of characters, like over 15 characters, 16 or 17 I think, and they were all main characters that you get to know, you get to talk to. The writing was extremely strong, the look of the game is amazing, and when I tell you the story is incredible in this game, it truly is. In the last 3 or 4 hours of the game, it just goes insane. Now, I should tell you, there is a lot of anime-isms, I guess you could say, in this game, where a lot of the character designs, and hell, even some of the story gets a little too anime-ish. But if you can let that go, like I did, and just you know, sit down, play this game on your PS Vita, and just shut the hell up, and, you know, just listen to the story as it unveils, and you're not just like, oh, this doesn't make sense, this doesn't make sense. If you just sit here and listen to it, and you just wrap your brain around some of the sci-fi-ish stuff in this game, it is not only a fun ride, but it is really, truly genius. You might think, oh, this doesn't make sense sometimes, but let me tell you, in its own world that it sets up, it really does make sense, and it really is grounded in its own realism, if that makes any sense. Now, I will admit, some of the gameplay elements are a little lackluster, but to be honest, like, the story and all that stuff overpowers it so much, and the gameplay itself is fine, don't get me wrong. It's not like it's you know, awful and it just gets in the way of the story. It really doesn't. But when it gets into those trial aspects where you have to figure out who killed who, those parts are great. The trial parts are great, but when it adds little mini games, like you have to actually like jump around in someone's mind and stuff, it only makes sense if you play the game. Those parts aren't that great, but they're very few and far between, so it really doesn't matter. The story itself is like 30, maybe 35 hours long, and it's a ton of fun to go through with all these characters. It's heartbreaking when some of my favorite ones die, and then it goes into insano what the hell levels at the end. I absolutely love Danganronpa 2, Goodbye Despair. It is a great game and probably the best game you could play on your PS Vita of 2014. And now you have Middle-earth, Shadow of Mordor, which is a game that even if it didn't have the Nemesis system, it would still be an excellent game and easily be on my top 10 list. But the Nemesis system, oh my god, the best thing in video games in a very long time, and I shit you not. The Nemesis system is so cool. You kill an enemy in this game that is like a captain or a war chief, and you think you killed him. Like, you just, alright, he's dead, I'm gonna, you know, leave and stuff. And then you come back later and he's back, he's alive, and he has a scar on his face, and he remembers you. He's like, you killed me, I came back, I wasn't dead, I got my face all, you know, fixed up, and I'm back, and I want revenge. And this could keep happening over and over again. If you cut their arm off, if you cut their head off, they could show up with a neck scar, which is, you know, doesn't really make that much sense, but still, whatever. It's really, really cool. The Nemesis system is awesome. Hell, if you get killed by a random orc, that orc can become a main captain, and you have to hunt him down and get revenge and stuff. There's a lot of really awesome moments in this game. Like, I mean, they'll just remember you, and they'll be like, oh, you ran away last time, or oh, you killed me last time, but I'm back for revenge. And it's really awesome. It makes the world feel alive. The combat itself is very Arkham Asylum-esque, but it's probably the best Arkham Asylum, I don't like saying clone, but that's pretty much what it is. It's the best Arkham Asylum imitation out there. It's really fun, really, really brutal. You cut orcs up into pieces, or uroks, I'm sorry. Uroks, orcs, whatever you want to call them. You cut them up into pieces. It's a ton of fun. It's very brutal. It's a lot of fun just using stealth to kill a bunch of enemies and brutalize them and scare off all the other orcs, and then go in for the kill for whoever you're hunting. You get to ride little well, not little, these big dog creatures and stuff, and that's fun to get on the backs of and like attack all the orcs. It's just so much fun to have. The story itself is really interesting, a lot of fun. The main character is really likable, and you actually really do want him to prevail. And the upgrade system is actually something that not many people talk about, but every time I upgraded, I really did feel like I was becoming stronger and better and learning all these different moves. And hell, you start to learn some stuff like for the Nemesis system, where you can actually like tell one of the captains to betray a war chief, which a war chief is like the bigger and stronger guys. You could tell them to betray them, and you could actually watch it happen and go down there and like actually kill a war chief. And then if you kill the war chief, your captain that you actually took over with your mind powers or whatever your Wraith powers, you can tell him to like take his place and stuff, and you can kind of like infect Sauron's army from within with your own troops. It's actually really interesting to see that, and I absolutely love the Nemesis system and the game itself. So Middle-earth, Shadow of Mordor, even if it doesn't get number one, it is an excellent game that is certainly one of the best games of 2014. But what could be number one? My number one video game of 2014 is... There you go. Now there's the badass music. Title sequence. Oh. Yeah, there it is. Middle-earth, Shadow of Mordor. I cannot believe how good this game is. I was very hopeful. I really was that this game was going to end up being excellent. And man, it was so good. Thank you, Monolith. Thank you for making not only the best Lord of the Rings game, but thank you for making the best game of 2014, and it's really impressive considering it is a brand new IP. I mean, this is on the levels of stuff like Last of Us. That was a brand new IP, and everybody loved that. But this is from a developer that isn't really known for making Game of the Year games. So it's really impressive that they pulled this game off so well on their first try with the franchise. And when I said a new IP, I mean, you know, it's a new style of Lord of the Rings. It's not a movie game, or it's not a sequel to another Lord of the Rings game. It's a brand new style of Lord of the Rings. You know, it's much gorier than any other Lord of the Rings game out there, and it's much more mature. And it's just a great time all the way throughout. And hell, it's like a 35-hour game, so you'll definitely be spending some time in this. If you want to beat everything, it's 35 hours. It's a ton of fun. I can't wait until the next one. Danganronpa 2, man, that game was so good, and it definitely has my favorite story of 2014. But when I get into the gameplay, I can't stop playing Shadow of Mordor all the way throughout. I 100%ed the game, and I never really do that. And you know the reason why I did that is because it's so freaking good that even picking flowers off the ground is a blast in that game. So there you go. There is my top 10 best video games of 2014. I know it went on for a little long, but you know, I usually take a long time with these videos. But there you go. Finally, I did my top 10 best games of 2014, and my number one is Middle-earth, Shadow of Mordor. Ooh. So there you go. Thank you for everybody watching my videos, everybody out there, and if you've made it all the way to the end of this, thank you for not shutting it off, not saying Gore is not funny. I'm done listening to him. He's not cool. His opinions suck. Thank you for not saying that. And if you are saying that and you're still watching the video, then screw you, man. Screw you and your thoughts. But if you're not thinking that, thanks, man. Thanks for watching. So anyway, there you go. That's my top 10. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you. And until next time, goodbye. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You like that? You like that? Go bag or what the fuck your name is? Oh, yeah. Feel the fist. Feel the motherfucking fist. I'm gonna take you up on this wall. Oh, yeah, done! Oh, damn! I should have interrogated him, though. Oh, man. That was fun.